Hi, I'm Sam and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. I have an ever-growing collection of Sheertex tights. So this video, I'm going to give you a 1-year update on this pair that I previously made a video on. These are the classic tights. And then I also recently purchased the essentials because I was really excited that they made a cheaper option that still is supposed to be very, very strong. So without further ado, let's get into it. First things first, I'll have my measurements down in the description box below, and I have a medium tall in the classic Sheertex tights and then a small medium in the essential tights. Let's do a quick recap of these because I've been getting quite a few comments on my last video asking for an update. Overall, in the past year, I've been really happy with these tights. They are the only pair that I wear, and I've gotten rid of most of my other black pantyhose because this is really all that you need, quite honestly. There are two things that I don't love about them. If you didn't watch my last video, my tights do have these horizontal black lines that show up occasionally, specifically on like the thighs of the tights. I actually got really excited because I got an email from Sheertex after I'd ordered the essential tight, and this is what it said. You'll sometimes find twisted fibers, those dark lines, on your tights. Don't worry, those appear from time to time and are totally normal, especially after a number of wears. So, you know, we've clearly communicated I've worn these a lot of times. So they say to pull on the sides of the tights beside the line and then you can get it out. Unfortunately, this didn't work for me. Weirdly enough, I did get a twisted fiber, I guess, on my essential tights when I was wearing them the other day, and this trick did work on those. So maybe the ones that I have that I've been wearing for the longest are just like too old of a model for this to work somehow. Kind of a bummer to have those and not be able to get them out, but at least in the new essential tights that I have, they are easier to fix. And the second thing, which I feel like I can't really be that mad about considering how often I've worn them, is that they do finally have a hole in them. But I have worn them since then a couple of times and nothing has happened. So it's interesting, like there is a hole there, you can see it very clearly. However, there hasn't been any runs that have come from it. And because of the place where it is, it's like pretty up far on my thigh. I think I can actually just continue to wear these without an issue until that hole ends up getting larger, or if it does like run at some point. So obviously there's still a pair of pantyhose, be careful with them, but for me to only have one pair of tights that I wore for an entire year, I'd say that's still pretty darn good considering I usually rip most tights within the first 5 minutes of having them on. With the essential sheer tights, they do look and feel very similar to me, but they are significantly cheaper, and I think the main reason is just because of the production being very automated. So these ones, it sounds like they are just like totally done by machine and like a lot less human interaction than the classic sheer tights. And these ones also only come with a 30-day guarantee, whereas the more expensive tights have a 90-day policy where if something happens to them within those 90 days, you will get a replacement pair. I just bought these and I've only worn them once, so I can't fully attest to how strong they are over such an extended period of time like I can with my other tights, but I did want to capture my first impressions and also take you along with me as I was wearing them, so let's see that. First, we are going to put these on and I'm going to do a wear test all day of these tights. My first impression is that they do feel very similar to my other pair. I guess one issue we may have out of the gate that I didn't realize is that these have the like leg part that's a different color, and this is a very short skirt that I have picked to wear today. Otherwise, they feel pretty good, they feel pretty comfy, and I did catch my nail on them as I was putting the tights on, but it didn't rip anything, so that is good. I'm about to head to brunch and I'll check in with you in a bit. out from shopping and from brunch, had my whole kind of day. I am still wearing these tights and they've still held up really well. Unsurprising, like I didn't think that they would break in one day, but I did want to actually wear them and make sure and see how comfortable they were as well, because my other Sheertex tights, I find that they don't fall down, they don't feel uncomfortable at all, and these ones are a little bit different. They have a slightly different waistband and the sizing on them is also different. Like I wish that they were a touch longer because I did feel like I had to pull them up a couple of times because the crotch was kind of like sagging a little bit, and I feel like that usually happens when you're like a little bit too tall. Other than that, I have no complaints about these tights. I feel like they did really well. I think the biggest difference that I could feel wearing them is in the waistband of the tights and also aesthetically in the way that they look up top. So with these tights, the classic ones, I love how wide this waistband is. I feel like these tights actually stay up. I think that they look more flattering. This certainly doesn't roll down or anything, and it just feels nice and secure. I also mentioned, but I got a tall size in these. It looks like they don't sell those anymore, unfortunately, but they did used to, and that fits me perfectly. I'm 5'10", so having a little bit of extra length in the legs is always a good thing. These classic ones also don't have that like built-in opaque section up top that goes into like a little short type deal. I feel like you can always end up seeing that line, and it just really bothers me. When it comes to the essentials tight, it does feel like this section is a little bit ribbed up at the top. The waistband obviously is smaller, and it does have those dreaded little opaque short things before the actual more sheer part of the legs start. I still felt like I should purchase them just because they are so affordable, and I do have a hole in my other pair that like who knows how long they're gonna last now. I also feel like this waistband doesn't stay in place as much, so it's not as secure. They weren't falling down all day, but I did notice it a little bit, and they're certainly more annoying than my more expensive pair of Sheertex. However, I think for the price, the essentials tights are a really great way to try out Sheertex, and I do feel like with the essentials tights that they could also last a very long time. I'll have to do an update video again in another year from now and let you know how they're going, but so far to me, they feel like they will do well. I'll put a note in the description if there are any updates, if anything has happened to the tights. So check down there, and if there's nothing, then you know that they're still all good. So my final thoughts on these two pairs of tights, I think if budget is not an issue and you don't mind shelling out, personally, these ones are still my favorite. I think that they are the most comfortable. I feel like even maybe the newer ones won't have as much of an issue with the lines like mine do. When it comes to the essentials tights though, I am really happy that Sheertex has made a more affordable, budget-friendly option. And these are 29 USD. So for me, even if they last like half as long as my other pair did, that still is pretty good value overall. And I just really like the security of knowing that I always have a pair of tights that doesn't have a run in them. I'm not sure if Sheertex like changed their marketing director or really like flipped tactics or something, but I have been getting so many emails and so many social media ads from them. They do often seem to be having a lot of sales now. So if you want the classic sheer tight and you don't want to pay $90 for it, then just sign up for their emails, and literally today they are 60% off. So fingers crossed that when you're watching this video, they're still on sale, but if not, you know, hopefully if you wait it out, you'll be able to get them for a better bargain as well. Let me know if there's anything else that you want to try from Sheertex, and of course, if you have any questions or if I've missed anything, feel free to comment down below, send me a DM on Instagram. I'm always more than happy to chat with all of you. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that it's been helpful, and if you're here, please click that subscribe button and join us. I post new videos every single Wednesday, and I have a lot of fun travel and fashion content coming up that you won't want to miss. See you next week. Bye!